Hello and welcome to my Ciao Land of the Rising Sun mini album tutorial series designed for scrap and create. If you would like to follow along with the tutorial series, check out the links in the description box below where you can purchase all the supplies that you will need to make this mini album. Let's get into the tutorial. In today's video, we are going to be working on the first side of page 3. So the first piece that I have cut measures 8 1/4 by 4 inches. On the 8 1/4 inch side, I'm going to score this at 1/2 and 7 3/4. Then I have 6 pieces cut to 3 1/4 by 4 inches. Now I've already got 3 of these scored just because I had them scored from another project that I didn't end up using. But we're going to score all 6 of these pieces on the 3 1/4 inch side at 1/2 inch. Then I have one piece cut to 3 inches by 4 inches. And on the 3 inch side, I'm going to score this at 1/2 inch down the right hand side. And then I have one piece that's cut to 6 1/2 by 11. Now I'm going to score this on the 11 inch side at 5 inches and 10 inches. Now this piece I'm not going to do anything to, but all of the rest of these pieces I'm going to miter the ends of my 1/2 inch tabs and fold on that score line and burnish all these folds with my bone folder. Then we will come back and assemble the page. The first piece I'm going to adhere down is my 8 1/4 inch by 4 inch piece with the 2 tabs. So I'm going to apply my adhesive to my tabs. Now, if you want this to be exactly centered on your page, you want to go ahead and mark on each of those sides 2 inches from center. I'm just going to eye mine and use my grid to help me with this. So I'm going to place this like that. Right in the center of my page. And then I'm going to burnish this down on both sides. Then I'm going to take one of my 3 1/4 inch pieces, apply my adhesive to my first tab here. And I'm going to adhere this right to my left side, making sure that score line is on the end of that belly band. And then I'm going to adhere this down. I'm going to open up and burnish this and leave this open. Then I'll take my next flap and apply my adhesive here. And we're going to start adding each of the waterfall flaps in the same exact way. So I'm going to line up this score line with the edge on that 1/2 inch tab. I'm going to close this and straighten everything up so the top and bottom edges are straight. Then I'm going to come in here and burnish this down. Same thing with the third flap, adding the adhesive to the tab, placing it on the page, closing all the flaps to make sure that everything is straight. Once it's straight, then I will open up and burnish this down. for the fourth piece, we're going to repeat that same process. Burnishing it down once everything is straight. Now on to piece number 5. And then finally with piece number 6, adding the final waterfall flap. And now I have this piece here that's going to end up being a pocket on the opposite side. So I'm going to apply my adhesive to my little 3-inch flap. And I'm going to adhere this piece to the right side. Once I get it on there, I'm going to close all of my waterfall flaps just to make sure that everything is lined up straight, top and bottom. That will keep everything looking nice and neat, because if anything gets off here, it becomes really noticeable. So you just want to make sure that everything is lined up before you make sure that it's on the page permanently. Okay, so this is it for the build. This one I have just folded like we did on the first page when we made one of these same booklets. And I'm just going to tuck it here for now. That's where it's going to go. So next what we're going to do is come in with the Ciao papers and start decorating. Now the first thing I'm going to do is take 2 8-inch pieces of my ribbon. I'm going to adhere one to the center on the first waterfall flap. So I'm only going to adhere about 1/2 inch hanging off the right edge. Then I'm going to adhere the second one over here. So that about 1/2 inch is here, hanging off the right edge of my paper, or off of my page. Now for my 6 waterfall flaps, I've taken the 8x8 paper that has these 6 cut apart cards on them, and I'm going to adhere them in this order. So this one for me is going to go here, and I will say if you want them in a different order, you can change the order, it doesn't matter. Then I've got this one for the second flap. I'm going to put this one for the third flap, fourth flap, fifth flap, and sixth flap. So I'm going to put these on, then we'll come back and add a piece here, and then we'll start on the back side. Next, I'm going to work on this part here. So from this 12x12 paper, I had some left over. I've cut my first piece to, I believe it's 2 1/4. 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. I'm going to place this here. Going to open this piece up. On the floral side, I'm going to use this piece. This is all that I had left, and it was the perfect size. It's 3 inches by 3 3/4. I'm going to place this here. Then I'm going to apply my adhesive here and close this to form that pocket. Then I had this 12x12 paper left over. I had a 5x12 inch strip that I cut off. Then I've cut 6 pieces to 2 1/2 by 3 3/4. And I'm going to place one of these on the back side of each of the waterfall flaps. From this 12x12 paper, I've cut 2 strips that measure 7 inches by 1 inch. I'm going to tuck one here in the top and then one here in the bottom underneath my belly band. Then for the space between each of my waterfall flaps, I'm going to cut pieces. But first I need to cut this piece off so I don't cut incorrectly. I don't remember where this was. It might have been like this. Okay, so it was like this. Now I have cut this whole entire strip off first. It is 4 3/4, and you can just leave it for now. So just cut 4 3/4 off. This is going to go on my booklet, so I'm going to set it aside for later. Then I've cut from over here on this side, I've cut these little strips to 3/8 by 3 3/4, and I have 5 of them. And like I said, one is going to go between each of these flaps here between the waterfall pages. I've cut these 2 cards from the cut aparts. I'm going to place both of them here in this pocket. Now you can place a cardstock photo mat in here if you want to, but I am just going to leave it for journaling, and then I can add a photo there if I want to, because we've got so many photo spots here. I'm going to go ahead and tie this closed to hold my waterfall flaps shut, and then we're going to move on to the photo booklet to finish this page. Next, we're going to work on our little booklet. So I mentioned cutting this piece, it was 4 3/4. Now we're going to trim it to 6 1/4. I trimmed it off the top. I'm going to be placing this here on the front with my opening piece to the right side. Now for the back, I've taken this 12 by 12 paper and I've cut a piece to 4 3/4 by 6 1/4, and I'll be placing this here on the back side. From the 12 by 12 paper, again, I've cut a strip to 1 inch, or no, 3/4 of an inch by 6 1/4, and I'm going to be placing this here on the front of my little piece. And then on the inside, I've taken this red paper, and I believe I might have some of this left if I can find it. It looked like this. And this, again, this piece measures 3/4 by 6 1/4, and I'll place this piece here. For the inside of my booklet, I've taken this paper here. It was 12 by 12, and I have cut 2 pieces to 6 1/4 by 4 3/4. I'm going to turn my booklet this way and place one here and one here. And then from my cut apart sheets, I've cut these 2 cards. I'm going to adhere only the left or the right and bottom edge of this piece down here in the corner, so I can tuck this little card underneath for a journaling spot, and then the photo can slide behind. Once my little tuck spot is on, I'll tuck my card behind here. Go ahead and close up my little booklet, and then I'm going to slide this down here. And that is it for my page, and this tutorial is done. So in the next tutorial, we will be working on the back side of the page. I'll see you in the next tutorial.